I hate both of you.
Welcome to
To
One Foot on the Ground. This
This
is
is
Johnny.
Ashley, and today we are discussing. Oh crap! What is it
Host.
called?
Host. That's it.
Was it
Host.
just host? Not
Yeah.
the host, or
Nope.
okay, host.
We went through
Host.
this last episode too.
2020.
Where I was like, Host 2020.
Don't watch the wrong movie, John. There's like 40 of them called Host,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
have
And if I
host in the
recall
title.
your reaction when I was like, we're watching Host, you're like, oh. Huh. You didn't seem pumped at
No.
all.
Well, I
you
thought
were
it
like,
was
that
that
one?
dumb one, and I was like, I don't want to watch that. Why is she even making me watch that? Like, would she even want to see that? But there's also The Host by we've talked about this, the guy that did Parasite, and that is a very good movie. But you know, whether or not we'll do that, I don't know. It's a bit whatever. It was a little long in the tooth. That's not how you say that. It was old. I'm
Right
sorry.
on.
No, it whatever. Not the point. Who cares? We're not talking about that.
And
So
that's not the one with like tentacles coming out of the water on the poster, like grabbing bodies.
yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Oh, that's the one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's a great. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, you should see it. I believe it's on the
No.
Criterion channel right now. So check it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on.
It's
Yeah, I'll
really
check it
good.
out.
It's really, really good. But it is a little long. Like some of it could have been cut out. There was a lot of, what do you call that? Subplot kind of
Oh,
sections.
yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
like, like the original Ring from China,
Yeah.
or where, I can't,
Nope.
that's awful. I have no idea where it's from. I really don't. I don't think it was
I'm
Japanese.
pretty sure. Isn't it Japanese?
I don't think so.
Or is that The Grudge? That's The Grudge.
I think The Grudge was. The Ring, I don't think was Japanese. I think it was
No, I also made. No,
something.
it was Japanese.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different movie. Because they spoke, what is it, Mandarin, and what? Who cares? Whatever. None of this is the point. The point is we watched the movie Host. It's on Shudder, and it's from 2020, right? They made it this year.
Yeah, they released it July 30th, 2020.
Okay. So do you want to say what this movie's about, or should I, or who do you want?
It's about it's the backdrop is present day quarantine time, and they're on it's just a bunch of friends that meet up weekly over Zoom, as you do in these troubling times. And they have a seance for somebody's like birthday, and things go awry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And opposite of The Host, this one is not long at all. It's like 56 minutes. It's less than an hour.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny about that? When I was watching it, I wanted it to be longer. I have to say, and I mean, I wasn't, I don't know how to say this. I wasn't, it's not that I wasn't looking forward to watching it, because I knew from your recommendation that it would be fine. But I was like, like lackadaisical about it, maybe.
Yeah.
But when I started it, I was like, oh, I'm into this. And then, and then it was like getting good, and I was like, I'm really into this. This is freaking fantastic. And I have to say, I think this is one of the better, like, versions of this kind of thing that I've ever seen. Like, this is fantastic. It was very well
Yeah.
done. It wasn't overly explained, and it was legitimately kind of creepy. Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, it
good.
spooked me and I was shocked. I was like, "Ooh, I am uncomfortable."
And it also it's really interesting because I mean, I don't know how much our viewers, our listeners are used to Zoom. We do our podcast recording over Zoom.
Yeah.
So I'm used to the whole setup and how it works. So it was exciting to me that it was like legit Zoom, like start to
Yeah.
finish. Like it never came out of Zoom. Like it
Yeah.
started off with Zoom, like it's opening. Um, and even the credits at the end, it was
I
like
dug that. The
that was
participants.
really freaking cool. I was like, oh, look at this. These guys are legit doing this. It was fantastic. It was really, really freaking cool. But I'm getting carried away. What should we
No, I mean,
say? I don't.
that's totally fine. Like, get carried away. I loved the I think that it being over Zoom, them not giving like a ton of information about everything because it
Mhm.
just felt more natural, right?
Yeah.
So like, friends get on the Zoom call and they're just chatting and they're like getting into it. They're not like giving out exposition. The most they had was what's her name? Not Emma, not Gemma, not Caroline.
The main girl, the one that started the
Haley.
call.
Yeah, Haley being like, "Hey, don't be dicks.
Yeah.
Like, I want to take this seriously."
Yeah. And
And
then
like
guess
and
what
that was like the
happens
most we got.
when you're
Everyone brought
dicks?
something from a loved one, but it never came up again, you know?
Oh, you know that I thought that they were planting a seed there. I thought it was foreshadowing. And then it never,
No.
well, actually I guess it
Y-
did. No, it did a little
The
bit.
the little box
The
came
music
back.
box came
Yeah.
back, which I was glad because I was like, because in the call or in the Zoom meeting, one of the only guy, he was the only guy,
Yeah.
he left the meeting before the whole seance started, basically, because his girlfriend came up and started kissing him. It was gross, and ew. And they quit the call, and I was kind of mad because I was like, oh man, I really wanted to see what happens with this music box. Like I thought, oh, that's gonna be creepy. And then of
Yeah.
course he popped back into the call, and we got all that. It was fantastic. Um, he
Yeah.
he should not have come back to that call.
He should have stayed home. Not that he ever
Stay
left home, but
away. Yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah, and back to the Zoom interface, like I watch all my stuff like on a computer and when the movie starts, I like instinctively would try to like click out of boxes. I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh no, it's the movie.
It's a
And
movie.
even yeah, even as it like went like God, and we'll probably get into this a little bit more. Like Caroline, when she goes down and we don't see her, but we see her background, and like, but we see chat notifications, like where she's trying to like talk to everybody, and I'm like, well, somebody, what's happening to Caroline?
Oh,
Open the chat window,
I
and
noticed that. Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, dude, hello, could you please? Because there were messages were piling up, and I was like,
yeah,
could somebody please go over to the chat and see what somebody's saying? And they never did
yeah.
show you that, so I have
Yeah, and
no
I'm like,
idea what anybody
just
was
click it.
saying.
Just click the
Click it,
thing.
click
Like, and so it like played into a whole nother level of like anxiety,
it. Yeah.
like a notification anxiety. But then toward the end, when because they didn't pay for Zoom Premium or whatever, and the free 45-minute like timer comes up and it's like, hey, your free session's about to expire, and like it just clicks out of the window. Like I went to click out of the window, and as the timer is like, hey, do you want to like, are you sure you don't want to like pay for this and get like, like Zoom like longer chat times, and then like timer is counting down. And I think that added to my anxiety a bit more because it I was involved, but not involved. But I was in the same position as all the others because they were all just watching their friends die, you know?
Yeah.
So there was like
Yeah.
nothing else to do. And I was like, wow, that was really effective.
It really was. All of it. Like, it was, whoever came up with this idea to do this was brilliant because
The
they got
director, Rob
everything
Savage?
right. What's that?
I said the director, Rob Savage. Did you
Oh,
watch
this
that?
is
Did you watch
Fred
that thing I
Savage,
sent
and I was
you
like,
on
Fred
the
Savage?
Twitters?
Heck yeah, I did. That was awesome. I was like, is it a sequel? I was so excited.
No, that's what it was based on. What I had sent John was a post from Rob Savage's Twitter in April where he had played a prank on his friends, and I guess leading up to it, he had talked to them about how he thought he had heard footsteps in his attic for months. I would say I think anyway. Maybe that's just me. And he said one day he was in his home and he saw like an open like candy wrapper or something on the ground, and he looked up and his attic was like ajar, just like a smidge. And like he had ended up going up there and didn't find anything, and he was like, all right, well, nobody's living in my home, but that would be a real fun thing to like mess with people with. And then he pre-recorded like that little short, and it was from like a scene from another horror movie, Wreck. And like where like they scoop up into an attic and there's like the little figure up there. But yeah, he was like, should I go check my attic? And then like switched from a live stream to like his pre-recorded thing, and it was spooky. Loved it. But that's when like other companies were like, hey, you want to make that in like a year? You want to make that in like a year and a half? You want to make that in like 2 years? Or we'll release it in a year and a half or 2 years or whatever. And they were like, I don't think it'll work like 2 years from now. I don't think it'll work anytime other than now. And then Shudder came up and they were like, hey, do you want to make that a movie? But like right now. And they were like, yeah, let's make a movie right now. And they pumped that's very short. April to and they dropped it in July.
I mean, it just proves how good he is at what he's doing. But I didn't know that was, I thought that was like a sequel. So that's interesting that was kind of what sparked the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But he did a great job with everything, like giving you the stress of the situation was perfect. And like you said, like there's all those things that like clicking on things you couldn't click on, like all that stuff. It really did add to the ambiance of the whole thing. But my favorite thing is that there was no explanation, and thank God there wasn't. I hate that. That is my least favorite thing about like a scary movie, especially when it has to do with hauntings or anything like that. When you over explain the situation, I can't stand it. Because I'm like, I don't care. That's not the point. It's like, you're not supposed to know what is going on. And then when you try to explain it with like astral projection or some bullshit, I'm like, no. No. And then at some point it just becomes like a Scooby-Doo episode. It's like you're unmasking a villain that's projecting a ghost onto a, some fog or something. It's like, none of that works for me. None of it. Like, make sure that it's something you can't, like, that you're not going to be able to explain or whatever. The only thing about this one that took you out of it, I think, a little bit was how they kept moving around. Because, and the only reason I say that is because they were all on laptops for the most part, except for the one girl. She started
Gemma.
on her phone and then transferred over to the laptop. But, and it was funny too, because even during that, I was like, did she switch back to her phone?
Yeah, when she,
I don't think she did.
Before she put on her mask, before she left her home. And then I think she lost signal.
Back. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. I do remember that. But my thing was, they were, like, if you thought about it logistically, they would be carrying around their laptops really awkwardly to get some of that footage. Like it wouldn't make sense. Like for you
Yeah.
to like, if you grabbed your laptop, you wouldn't turn it around so that the camera is filming what you're looking at. Like it would be odd.
I think that's something I would do if I was terrified and I also like wanted my friends to see.
Yeah, but then you couldn't see. I mean,
I couldn't see
anything.
their
Like, I mean, it's not like,
reaction. Like I don't care about like they could be like, Ashley, get out.
but you wouldn't be able to see their reactions if you
Right.
had your
I
computer
don't
turned
need to see
around.
their reaction. I want them to see what I'm seeing.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, I guess. The other thing I was thinking is it would have made more sense if they were on iPads because then you can have that flip around
The flip.
where it can go to the rear camera and you can still see everybody on the screen. So in that case, yeah, that would make sense. But or even on your phone, it would make sense. But I mean, that was like it's a small thing. I understood that it needed to be done for the sake of the film, but but I was like, nobody would do that. Who would do that? I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd be
I would.
selfish. I'm like, I'm seeing things y'all ain't gonna see.
No, I'd be like, can you guys see things that I'm not seeing?
I mean, maybe I would turn it briefly to show them,
like-
but I would turn it back around. I wouldn't keep
Oh,
leading with it.
there was a scene where one of them did that and they didn't see the thing. And I dug that. I can't remember who it was. Was it Haley maybe? Like she was like panning really quickly and then she panned back and it was gone. But I think there was like I can't remember what mask they created for this demon to wear. But the hanging dude.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool though. I liked that.
Yeah.
And I
was
also
like,
liked
"Oh."
I also liked that you never technically saw anything.
Yeah.
Like you never saw anything physical. Like nothing reached
I think
out.
the last shot showed something, but I think the something was getting like it was getting bigger over time or more powerful or more present rather. Like it was like, all right, it's time to like I got enough spooks in. It's time to take y'all out. But yeah, there was like a thing at the end and I was like, all right. You know, like I didn't need to see it, even though it was brief. Could have lived without it, but it wasn't so much that I was like, "Ugh, come on," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Maybe I-
because it's like the very last shot
Maybe I blocked it out because I was
where
like, whatever.
where it's like counting down. There when she's taking photos with her Polaroid, the flash.
Oh. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I
Yeah.
got you.
Also, let's take a moment to criticize Gemma.
Yeah.
After homegirl was like, "Hey, don't be a dick," and she's like, "LOL, I'm gonna play a joke," which is like, you know, we all have a friend in the party that may or may not do that, you know.
I don't. I mean, I think she was way offline. Way off. Like, bitch, fuck you. Don't make any shit like that up. Because it's just, and clearly, you killed all your friends. So you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because basically, yeah, I mean, I guess if the audience hasn't seen the movie, she makes up a friend, and then
Like
claims
a
that he's
spiritual experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then fakes the experience of being
Like feeling something on her throat.
Mhm.
And then saying the friend had somebody she knew in school who had killed themselves, who had hung themselves, and she like had a little freak out, and then they lost a connection with their guide, their medium, or whoever was hosting the seance, and it comes to light that she made it up, but now weird shit's happening to everybody, and mostly to Caroline for some reason.
Which one was
Poor
Caroline?
thing. Caroline is the one who had the video background.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, like her dad was there, and then like he like went out for whatever in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Can somebody like call her dad or something? Is he like home?" but like Caroline was just being like traumatized over and over with like knocks and
Oh, and then
being
she had
told.
that damn video backdrop.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the first thing I thought of, like when she walked in the room like that,
Hmm.
my first thought was, that's her fucking background. And the girls are like, oh my God, Caroline, Caroline, blah, blah, blah. And of course, she's not paying attention because it's fake. Like it was a pre-recorded thing. And I was like, how do these people not know that? Like, they just watched it earlier.
I don't think all of them were on the call when she showed them.
Oh, you're right. She might not
I
have.
think
Yeah,
Gemma and Haley were
we're on the
on,
call for
or
that.
just
Okay.
Haley. No, it would because Gemma was
No,
second on the
Gemma
call.
was the
So
first
yeah,
one on the call, so
yeah,
she would have seen it.
yeah, but yeah, and
But
then
still, I mean,
yeah, but like oh man, that's stupid background. But then Emma was over here using face filters, having a grand old time. And then when spooky stuff was happening to her, like, you don't have time to take those face filters off. And so she's crying, looking like a lizard snake situation with her tongue coming out. And I was like, that's so relatable.
yeah, that's
Like,
funny.
I loved it.
I loved that the entity got a mask on. You know what I mean? Like that. That was.
Yeah.
I loved that part. I thought that was really freaking cool. That it was catching his face, but you couldn't see it. But it
Yeah.
had a fake face there because it was using that program or whatever it is. The face. What is it?
Yeah.
Face
The
somethings.
facial recognition. No, not recognition. Mm-mm.
I don't know what it's
Not
called.
that.
The kids use it. The filter things. I don't know.
But yeah, a time to turn your laptop around to show them.
I mean, she did. Yeah, she was invested, but she couldn't see it. That was the thing that bothered me in that moment. She wouldn't have seen the thing turn to her and look.
Maybe Emma was on an iPad or a tablet
She could have been.
because she never had like the tilting situation. What's their
Oh,
faces?
yeah.
Caroline and Haley did.
I guess that would be the only thing that I personally would have wanted to know about everybody. Like, I'm on my
What
iPad.
device they were using?
What device are you using? Because it's
Yeah.
important to me to know what device you're using. So I don't think you're cumbersomely carrying your MacBook around, like turning it around to show people things.
Maybe it's a MacBook Air.
Do they have cameras on the other side?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm surprised
I just
Apple
know they're
hasn't done
light.
that.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
with these, maybe now they will for haunted movies made on
That'd be
Zoom.
good.
Like, we saw a movie and we realized that people don't turn around their computers.
Or there's the laptops. Not is it a Surface? Microsoft makes a laptop that like flips and folds down.
Oh yeah. Okay, so maybe they're using whatever. Okay, fine. They're using other things. It's fine. It's all good.
Caroline
It
and
still
Haley are
works.
both definitely on laptops.
Yes.
I will say that. Those two are definitely laptops.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and yeah, and so Emma is having problems. She's throwing flour around, and there's somebody in her home chasing after her. So she goes and hides under a blanket, which, like, you do. And she's like crying and having a terrible time. And Haley is also having problems. And Gemma over here, who, like, Emma's having a terrible time. Caroline is trying to reach out via keyboard and everyone's ignoring her. And Gemma is like, I'm going to go help out Haley. And Emma's like, no, don't leave me. What are you doing? Don't leave me. Like, don't leave me. And Gemma is like, you're fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We know
Bitch, people
Emma's
are
not
dying.
fine. Like, we know none of them are fine. Don't tell her she's gonna be fine. You're so rude. Yeah, I really hurt for Caroline and Emma. And you know what? And Haley. Everyone except for Gemma.
Well, I hurt for everybody but Gemma. Yeah, honestly. because I'm sorry, but it was absolutely Gemma's fault. All of that
Yeah.
was her fault.
So rude.
So fucking rude. And let me tell you something. If I ever have a situation like this where I'm doing a seance on a Zoom call, nobody better be making any shit up. I'll be so freaking pissed that I die some stupid death because you're idiots. In fact, I'm just not going to do one. I'll be like, no, I'm not participating. Goodbye. I'm done.
Oh, and Radina. Radina was the other woman. I forgot about her. She was gone real quick too, huh?
Yeah,
I
and
just
then
felt bad.
the one guy that ended because of his girlfriend, he came back at some point and came back on the call, like at the most awkward point too. It was like people have already died. They don't know what's happening with homegirl over there with her backdrop still animating.
Yeah. Oh, and from time to time, her face smashing into like
Smashing
the
into her
keyboard.
keyboard.
Like, oh,
Ugh.
like that got me. It was hard. It was hard
Oh
to
yeah.
watch.
Yeah, that was terrible. But he comes back on and tries to be funny, of course.
Yeah,
And
Emma's
then
crying with her
almost
snake face.
almost immediately shit goes down in his house real quick. I mean, he's running, there's shit going on, his girlfriend's screaming, and then her neck gets snapped in midair, which was freaking fantastic. I mean, not fantastic, but it was special effects wise. I was like, whoa, okay, this is crazy.
Yeah,
Great job.
because it was filmed in quarantine. They were under quarantine restrictions, so everybody
in
did their own
Britain.
stuff.
Yeah.
And they did their own makeup, and like they recorded from their iPhones. They taped their iPhones like to the tops of their laptops or whatever, and like sent their footage, because if they were to record over Zoom, if there was a connection problem, like we do, we record locally. And
Yeah.
if there was a connection problem, it would just mess the whole production up. So
Exactly.
everybody did their own stuff, which I thought was super impressive.
That is, I mean, that
Yeah,
particular.
like homegirl Haley being dragged around that chair all over her apartment.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
They all did great. All of it was good. They did a
Yeah.
great job. But seriously, that midair neck snap thing, that was crazy.
Hmm.
And then dropping into the pool.
And it was so quick. Like he comes on the call,
Yeah.
no time's wasted. He runs out. His girl, he sees his girlfriend, and then she's like, "What?" Fluke. Just like raised
right
up.
in the air.
She didn't have a
Yeah.
chance.
Nope.
All she had to do was be present on that screen.
And it's like, ma'am, that is what you get for trying to get freaky with your boyfriend and ending a Zoom call
In the middle of a seance.
in the middle of a seance.
That was also disrespectful.
Candles
ma'am.
lit, ma'am. Candles lit. Until that candle goes out at the end of the seance, don't you dare. I'm waving my finger at poor Ashley.
Yeah, John's giving a lot of tude.
Oh gosh, it was fantastic. And then he found the music box. It was open and playing in the barn? It was a barn, wasn't it?
Oh
That
yeah, I
he
guess
ended up-
so. I
he ended
guess
up
he
in a
was like in a
barn.
rich person house, right? Because he was
Yeah.
bragging about
Yeah, he was showing
what
them
was her name,
around.
Guinea's parents, and he's like, look, there's like a whole bar, and
Well,
look
she's
at all these
dead now,
rooms.
bitch.
Yeah.
Then who was which
Yeah.
one? Which one was it that went outside and then died being thrown into the picnic table, like dropped? Who was that?
That wasn't that was Emma.
Was it Emma? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she got spooked, and it looked like she was going to jump out the window, or like climb out, and then maybe she was thrown.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
her
and
laptop fell or whatever it
mhm,
was, and then she crashed into the picnic table,
yeah,
which that was another thing I kept thinking. I was like, dude, that's a wooden frickin' picnic table. The fact that you broke it from your fall, like you're dead for one thing. Like you're not surviving that. Because the force of
ugh.
that would be insane to break a wooden bench table like that, unless it was an old rotted one from a public
Yeah,
park.
it's
But
been
I
out there
don't
way
think it
too long.
was.
It was like begging for it.
Like, I'm gonna break as soon as you try to put hamburgers on this thing.
But nobody uses it because it looks suspect. So it never gets what it wants. It never gets its hamburgers. It never
Oh
gets its
gosh.
cookout.
Oh, what a great movie though. Great, 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 great movie.
Yeah, what a fun time.
It really was. And we highly recommend it, obviously, to anybody. Like, if you listen to this whole episode and you're like, well, now I've got to see it, then get your little subscription to Shudder or free trial and watch
Yeah,
this movie.
they do like sometimes they do 7-day free trials and other times they do like 30-day free trials.
Oh, yeah. So
Like
check
get
it
into
out.
it. It's
Check
also
it
only like
out.
$5 a month.
Yeah, it's not
one
very
of the,
expensive.
It's one of the cheaper
Or
subscriptions.
It's one of the more inexpensive options.
You're right. You're right. My bad. My bad.
Let's not call them cheap, dear. We're promoting their stuff. I wish we get paid to promote. That'd be fun.
Oh my
Hey,
goodness!
Shudder.
Imagine like just always doing like Shudder movies. I'm ready.
We could do that. I would do that. Why not? That'd be
Yeah.
fun. They've had some
They
great
got some
things on there.
class stuff.
But I also have some things to say about some of that stuff. Like when you cut up a movie and make it into episodes, I was like, what? That one that, oh, it was fantastic, but it was like, why did you cut this up into episodes? What was that?
What was it?
I can't remember. Oh God, it was so good though. It was like machines and space and I don't know, whatever it was. It was freaking fantastic.
Alien? Wait, Aliens. Wait.
No. Oh, I wish I could remember what it was. I think it had machine in the title. Whatever. It was fantastic. But they have some great content on. There's a movie on there now that I really want to see. It was the Mortuary one. I haven't watched it yet. I keep forgetting to go in there and watch it. But anyway. But yeah.
Right.
So
Wait.
do you have
Right
any-
before we go,
what?
I wanna bring up how COVID was definitely a factor in the film, but they didn't talk about it, but you knew because it was so familiar. Because
Yeah.
it was very clearly like present day. But I think that if this film was made 2 years from now or anything like that, when you see Emma going to the bathroom and like muting the mic because she's scared and doesn't want to be alone, like I think that was like totally like a normal thing. But I think that would have been like a comedy or like a stronger comedy bit. You know, it's kind of like a yeah, like yeah, that's like familiar. That's like what you do.
Yeah.
Like look at them show it. But or when Gemma goes to leave her home and she like straps up and then she like puts on a mask and like starts like
yeah.
running. And when she goes and like finally sees Haley, because like she must live down the street from Haley, because she was there earlier to be like, let me into the meeting, lady.
Yeah. Which that was the
but,
other
like-
thing. I was like, you turned on your Zoom thing, invited all these people, and then you ignored it. It's like, ma'am, turn around.
I mean, I
and
did
look at
that to
your
you
screen."
before this call. I was like, oh, John, my bad.
Okay, fair enough. I guess.
Yeah, I was like, Ashley, you're being such a Haley right now.
Oh, great. This is how this starts. Great. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ashley.
but like, yeah, when she gets to Haley's place and they go and they want to embrace, but then they're like, and they tap elbows. I can't tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
how many job interviews I've been on that have been like going for a handshake and be like, and give like a very like awkward wave. I'm like, sorry, COVID's weird, isn't it?
I've only had interviews on Zoom calls so far, so I haven't actually met anybody in person.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the Zoom interviews because I didn't have to worry about where to go, where to park, being there on time.
Oh God, I love that.
anything
That
like
is
that.
fantastic. That and I
Like,
didn't
it
have
was
to wear
like-
pants. Like
Yeah, I only have to wear
nobody
a good top.
knew. I was just wearing a button-down shirt. And that was it. I was Winnie the Pooh on my interview.
Nice.
I did have underwear on. Don't worry,
No.
but I didn't have to. Nobody saw
But yeah,
it.
but you didn't have to. You
I didn't
had
have
that
to.
freedom. You had the bottom down freedom.
I did. Oh gosh, the only problem with not having to wear your work clothes in so long is that I've gained weight, and I have no idea if any of it fits now. I don't think so, but I haven't
Well,
had to put anything on, so I don't really know.
I like anytime I went into my closet, I would look and I'd be like, remember all these things I used to wear daily?
Well,
All these
that's
button down
yeah.
shirts and slacks and
That's another thing about it that's funny is the closet. There's like a weird leak in the ceiling above my side of the closet. Of course, it's my side, and there's this awful particle board as a shelf above the closet
oh
that
no.
got so like wet and messed up from the leak. It's not a big leak, so it's not like it's rain pouring in there, but it's enough to where if you're not paying attention to it, something's going to happen at some point. And that's what happened is a gigantic hole just it finally the particle board broke, and it's this gross particle board that's like tiny little splintery pieces of wood,
Yeah, it like flakes out.
and they're all over my hang up clothes, like all my work stuff. And you know what's funny about it? It's still sitting there like that because I'm like, I don't even have the strength to try to deal with this right now.
And you don't need the things.
I don't need them, so I'm like, I brush them off every once in a while if I need to put something on. I'll just take it off there and I'll just shake it out. But there's like that splintery shit everywhere in there because I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this. This is not my jam. I'll wait until it's winter and it's cold, so I'm not sweaty to death in there. And then
Good
I'll
plan.
clean it up. But like I sweat to death during anything these days. It doesn't matter what it is. I was putting records on the shelf and I was sweating to death and trying not to drip on my records. I was like, what is happening to me? I think it's just getting old. I like this is weird.
Yeah. Well,
We had
yeah,
the air
and
on. It was nice in here. Why am I sweating? Anyway, not the point.
what would you rate this movie?
I would rate this movie, and you're gonna love this. You're gonna love it. I'm putting this up there. This would be like 9 toes for me. I
9
love this.
toes?
Yes.
Oh my word. I am so glad that your reaction at the end of the last podcast is so starkly different from this. I think I mean, yeah, I think it's great. I think I would give it I was going to give it like an 8. 8 toesies.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't waste my time. It just like it goes for it and it does it well. And a lot of it
Yeah.
feels very natural.
It really did.
And-
It really did. That was the best part about it is that it felt as realistic as it possibly could. Like I was lost in it. It was one of those things where I was sitting there and I didn't intend to watch the entire thing all at once. I was going to pause and go get some water or something. And I didn't because I was like, this is good. I am not missing any of this. Like, now, I will say my 9 toes, present day 9 toes, because it was so of its time. It's perfect in the moment. It was a wonderful film for this particular time. Now, if I watch this in 2 years, those toes might decrease a little bit. But
Yeah.
as far as like being a current film that makes perfect sense to really freak the shit out of you, 9 toes all the way. It was fantastic.
And we've seen quarantine movies. You
Yeah.
know, or movies that
Do you
try to
know-
like address quarantine like within them and it feels weird.
Do you know what's funny
This
about
one
it
didn't
is
feel weird.
I think the quarantine movies that we've had in the past are like a fictionalized idea of what a quarantine would be like because nobody's technically been in a modern day quarantine until now. And now that we know what it actually is like to be in a quarantine, it's not like those movies. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not,
Yeah.
I mean, there are zombies out there. We just call them something else. But they're trying to make America great again, apparently. Anyway, but it's not, I think this was a good time to do a quarantine movie and to do it right and to do it with the knowledge of how it actually is to be in one. Because like I said, I think all those other quarantine movies that we've seen, even like sort of 28 days later, I mean, technically that should have been a quarantine situation, but y'all just couldn't sit still. Like y'all kept moving fucking around. Like, and in reality, that's not how that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like the panic, it didn't do that when the panic happened for an actual real quarantine where we had to not go out and do things. And of course, in Britain, I think it's more strict than it was here. And same with Italy, it was more strict than it was here. We should have been strict from the fucking get-go, but we weren't, and now we're all dying. It's great. But you know, it's just I thought it was, yeah.
And
It's
this
interesting.
was released in the UK host. So they were under like a stricter
And they are again now.
guideline.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, as much as
You know, something needs to be managed.
yeah, exactly. I'm kind of surprised with
Yeah.
Britain though, because I felt like they would have dealt with this and been done with it, especially since they're technically an island. Like, quarantine yourself up. Don't let anybody in your shit. Pull a New Zealand, people. Pull a New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand's doing great.
New Zealand's fantastic because they're like, guess what, guys? And y'all can't come up in here. Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
Keep your nasty disease out of here.
I like just like with like the recent election and things like that and people being like, I'm gonna move out of the country, and it's like, are you?
Bitch.
How are you
Ain't
gonna get
nobody
around
wants
those
your
travel
ass.
bans? Yeah.
That too.
Like,
That too. But like
you're the
beyond
person
the
they
travel
don't
ban.
want.
That's like your first hurdle is the travel ban. Your second hurdle is that none of these people want you. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? You, of all people, they'd rather have us move out of the country and live with them, and you guys can just
Yeah,
have
they're gonna be like, you're a refugee from the Democrats.
from these.
Did you see us celebrate?
Did you see the world celebrate when
Yeah.
your fucking dude lost? Are you kidding me? The world. They were tolling bells for fuck's sake. I mean,
Yeah, but you're fleeing the
The-
what did you call it?
yeah.
The libtards?
oh my god, I can't.
God.
And can I just say that this Antifa or whatever, what is it? What do they say?
The anti-Antifas?
Yeah.
Is that like the anti-fascists?
Yeah. Like Jason just finally, I know this is really dumb of me. I'm so sorry, people, but he just explained that to me yesterday, what that meant. And I was like, wait a minute. So these people are having a problem with people that don't like fascism? I'm very confused now.
Yeah, well,
It's like this is just the
there's
level of stupidity that is out there that is just, it's mind-boggling to me. It does not make sense. But this is all off topic.
No, it is, but I really want to like there was a time like in the early bits of our quarantine when like the term Antifa was popping around, anti-fascism was and it was, you know, it's anti-fascism, and you know, a certain someone fell within those guidelines, and
Yeah?
his supporter or his supporters were like, well, we're anti-Antifa. Well, they tried, not his supporters, I think him and his posse, Trump and his posse tried to label Antifa as a terrorist organization, and they're like, it's not an organization, it's an idea. Like, but
And
they're
not
like,
only
they
that,
dress in all
but
black with hoodies. And so
do we now? Do we?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he had posted like a campaign that said he was anti-Antifa.
I mean,
And it
it's
was
like you
ooh,
don't even
that's like,
understand the things that you're saying. I mean, obviously that's true. He doesn't understand the things that he's saying.
well,
but
I think he understands gaslighting, like, or
no, he doesn't. He just does it. He has no idea what it means.
like he's just so.
I feel like that's a
good.
thing though. People that do gaslight people, I don't think that they're aware that they're even able to do it. I just think it comes so naturally to some, like my ex-boyfriend, the horrible one. Like it was like he didn't understand that he was doing anything wrong at any point.
Mhm.
I'm surprised he's not maybe he is a Trump supporter. I have no idea because I haven't interacted with him in years, but like I can see him being one though, honestly, now that I think about it. Because he was kind of that dumb. Even though he wasn't dumb, he was dumb. It was very weird. It's a very strange thing. Like to see that happening to people. It's like, but don't you get what's, I mean, how do you not understand common sense, for one? Beyond
Yeah.
all the other things, but whatever. I don't know.
Well, it's a disconnect from others, I think, but I might also, I could be wrong. I don't know everybody.
No, I mean that's the thing. We don't know everybody.
No,
It,
I won't pretend to know
it's
everybody's
it's
motives.
also one of the things that, like on our side of things, us being the people that are against that stupidity, like not to lump everybody into our group, but it kind of like, I mean, that's kind of what I was gonna go for, is that with this particular brand of, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm lost, but I'm saying, can you tell? I have no idea. What I'm
Yes.
saying. I've completely gone off the rails, but um, generalizations. Like, I also don't want to generalize the Trump supporters because I have no idea. I have no idea. I just don't. And for me specifically, like, I don't want to be generalized either. So I guess I'll give them
Yeah.
that.
I feel that. I
But-
feel that. But the reason I brought up the anti-Antifa thing, there was graffiti. There were several bits. I can't believe you didn't see this. There were like reports of graffiti that just said like "fuck fascism," and people were like, "This is anti-Trump graffiti," and they're like, "You do realize that you are calling him a fascist?" Like, because it's just like it didn't say his name anywhere. Like,
Well,
you're the one saying it.
that's the
But,
same as
yeah.
the like people like I'm sure you've seen them, but like the people that are quoting what Hitler did but not saying it was Hitler, and then everybody's like coming in there like, oh my god, I can't believe you would say that about our president. He's our president and blah blah blah, we love him. And it's like, dude, I was talking about Hitler. Like, oh, my
There's
bad,
some good stuff of
my bad that you
of
confused
who
the
said
two.
it, Trump or Zap Brannigan. And I love
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, what would you recommend?
Oh god,
for
I'm sorry.
host?
We went off on a tangent there, guys.
Yeah, we did.
What would I recommend? Oh god, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It is, because there's not a lot that are like this that are
No.
also
Do you
like
know, I
good.
have
Like
one
there's
though.
plenty of live screen movies like Unfriended, but like
No, I have. No, I'm not going that direction. I'm gonna go with Alien by Ridley Scott,
ooh, that's good.
because it's very claustrophobic as well. It was very well done. It's still kind of creepy, um, and he doesn't show you the villain enough for you to be disillusioned by it or whatever. Like he that film is brilliantly constructed, and I think it still works in modern day. And it's about that quarantine, y'all. If you had just quarantined those people and not let them in your damn ship, none of that shit would have happened. Kane would have died, but okay. Just saying.
Yeah,
Just saying.
that's my favorite part of Alien is Ripley being like, why aren't we following quarantine protocols? Why aren't we following quarantine protocols? Why aren't we quarantining? You guys, like, you do realize that like he could kill us all.
And guess who's the only one left surviving in the end? The one that
Yeah,
wanted to
as
have
she
it
should be.
quarantined.
Yeah, like as she's like launching away from the the ship as it blows up, like you should have quarantined.
You should have quarantined. Me and the cat. We're good. God, I love that movie. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. What would you
Right on.
recommend?
Man, that was such a good recommendation. Now I feel that I was going to recommend another Shudder original that was it was almost like it was a bunch of short stories. Scare Me.
Okay.
And it's there's like a power outage and they're just like, it's like two writers just like kind of like writing stories like back and forth, like verbally telling stories and just getting into it. It's fun
Oh,
stuff.
that sounds fun.
Yeah,
That sounds fun.
it was fun. I think I asked you to watch it several weeks ago. No big deal.
Did you really?
You still haven't?
I-
I think so.
I'm sorry.
I think, but I may not have. But either way, I'm hurt, even if I did it.
Oh, I apologize.
So thanks for that.
Sorry. Sorry. Uh, what are we doing next week? Oh, crap. It's my choice, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Do you know that I had a choice picked out before we started this? And now I'm totally blanking on what it was.
You gotta use that letterbox. I tell you.
I gotta use my brain. No, because I was going through all my films and getting rid of things, and I was like, oh, we've got to do this movie. And,
This guy.
oh, crap.
Was it Alien?
No, it wasn't Alien, because we have to do that with other people, so
Oh,
we have to schedule
Yes,
that. whole
that's
thing.
right. That's right. That's right.
Was
it Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit?
Oh, God, I do love that. No.
Because it's good.
And I thought it was, shit. I really can't think of what it was. You know what? I don't know. I'll tell Ashley.
Just clip it back
and
in.
And then I'll post on social media what it is, but I can't remember what it was at the moment. And I'm looking at my movies right now, like trying to figure it out, but
Oh, you're not gonna figure it out.
we're not going to figure
You're
it
not
out.
gonna figure it out in
It-
time.
it's going to take too
You're
long.
gonna figure it out as soon as we stop recording.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and obviously use those social medias, people, because that's where I'm going to post about what movie's next. I know you're on the edge of your seat with anticipation. So we got One Foot Podcast at Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? One Foot Podcast on the Twitter, I think.
Yes, sir.
1 Foot Podcast at gmail.com. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
Look
right.
at
And 1 Foot on the
me.
Ground on Facebook.
Yes, people.
Look at you. You
Find us.
nailed it. You're
Look
doing
for
so
us.
good.
Suggest something. Ooh. Oh, no, that wasn't it. I thought it was. No. Almost had it. Crap. I'm so mad. But you know what now? No, you know what? I'm going for it. I know what I want. We're going to do Toys
With Robin Williams?
with Robin Williams.
Huh.
I fucking love that film. Oh my God, I love that movie. Yeah, we're doing
Right
that.
on.
I just saw it down there and I was like, that should be it. We're doing Toys.
Right on. All
I'm
right.
going
Well,
for
then
it.
see
Going
you
for it.
next week.
Yeah.
Will we talk about toys?
Toys.
Bye-bye.